Hello and welcome to the show. On tonight's program, we learn about a program dedicated to stopping youth from drinking and driving. After that, we see how Four Wing Cold Lake pulls off a major exercise every year. But our first guest is the Director of Education for the Lloydminster Public School Division. All that and more tonight on Around the Region. Four Wing Cold Lake plays host to a massive air combat exercise every spring. We have Major Kurt Sorokin in to let us know just how much planning it takes to pull the whole thing off. After that, we learn about a program in Meadow Lake that's trying to keep youth from drinking and driving by showing them the realities of what can happen. But first, Michael Diachuk, the Director of Education for the Lloydminster Public School Division, and he's here to tell us just how the school division is doing. The LPSD has somewhere around 3,800 students enrolled in their schools, and Director of Education Michael Diachuk is here today to talk to us. Michael, how much work goes into keeping 3,800 students and staff working?
Lots of work, lots of staff, and we have approximately 500 staff as well that work towards making sure that the schools are in wonderful shape, our buses are running, and making sure that when kids arrive at school that teachers, educational assistants, principals, secretaries are already there to make sure the school's running at peak performance.
3,800 is quite a bit. It's not just the city of Lloydminster. You guys are picking up some kids from out and around the outlying areas too, right?
Yeah, we get students in from the eastern side of the from North School Division, and so there's sort of a traditional attendance area there, and some from the Buffalo Trail School Division within Alberta. So we get somewhere around 250 to 300 kids that are bussed in from the outside.
Now, is there anything kind of cool and funky? I know within the LPSD there's always something going on. We're always managing to get out there with a camera to see something interesting going on. Is there anything going on within the school divisions or this week or this month that's kind of interesting? Yeah,
well, kids this morning were up and running with Jim Berry, who runs our math program over at Bishop Lloyd and ESLR in the middle years. We have sort of a gifted math program, advanced math it's called. And they're doing a program called Mathletics where students will get online and solve problems and compete internationally.
Is there any challenges facing the school board right now as well?
Well, I think, we have good challenges. I think, we compare ourselves to other divisions in Saskatchewan because we follow the Saskatchewan education curriculum. There are many divisions that are static or dropping in enrollments. We have one of the highest growth of enrollment in all of Saskatchewan, 9% growth in the Saskatchewan side. We also anticipate that growth continuing. Our census tells us that about 50% of our population is 31 years and younger, and we know that even within that context that there are pockets within our communities where there are more kids in communities than parents. So our challenge right now is making sure we have adequate class space and balancing that demand for space though with making sure our class sizes are where they need to be. And so we try to focus on 20 to 25 kids per class while we're still trying to crunch more kids into school and balancing that. So
your counterpart for the Catholic system, a new school this year. Is there going to be a need for one on the LPSD site here in the next couple of years?
We have an application in for two schools. One is a K-9 school and the other would be a high school. And so what we're anticipating is a new K-9 school would be in the Parkview area, and we have word from the city on that. The high school will be added to our complement of schools, and we'll have two high schools in the city. The new site for the next high school yet is not known, and there's work with the developer in the city yet to identify a location.
Working with funding for something like that is always hard to come by. Is that going to be a challenge to find funding, or does the province just come in with that kind of stuff?
Well, we're unique in Lloydminster because of the bi-provincial and charter piece where we get part of our funding from Alberta and Saskatchewan. But right now we do have some money in reserves. Certainly we wouldn't have enough out of our reserves to fund both schools with what's expected from us. But we are aware that the budget is changing in terms of what it supports in Saskatchewan. So we're hoping going forward that they'll be coming through with what they're proposing, which is they'll fund the new schools entirely. So it'll be more about managing our students, making sure our enrollments are there, and they'll be in charge of providing the funding for us.
After the break, Diachuk fills us in on bringing in a lot of community partners at the same time. What, if anything, did you learn from that?
The whole strategic planning piece has become a dynamic, ongoing part of who we are as an organization.
That's next on Around the Region.